Hi, good morning, everyone. Um, so I'm going to talk about immigration in Canada, the post-pandemic era. As everyone knows, we are in a time of COVID-19, and immigration is something that everyone has a doubt about, especially after the borders being closed and everything. So right now, what I'm going to discuss and I'm going to show you all is how responsive Canada has been to this uh, the pandemic, and also how they have expanded, and also how they have increased immigration in terms of and helping out people. So let me go to the next slide. So why is immigration important to Canada is something that I'm going to talk about. This is a diagram that has been done by the Conference Board of Canada. In that it says, why is immigration important to Canada? One thing is 25% of Canada's population will be over 65 by 2035. 5 million Canadians set to retire by 2035. Canada's work to retiree ratio today is from 4 to 1 to 2. It's going to be 2 to 1 in 2035. When it comes to the fertility rate, which is ranked 181st globally, is well below Canada's replacement rate of 2.1. So immigrants today make up to 65% of Canada's net annual population growth. Almost 100% of the Canada's net population growth will be through immigration by 2035. And it says that 350,000 estimated number of immigrants Canada will need annually by 2035 to meet its workforce needs. So Canada's acceptance of immigrants on humanitarian grounds demonstrate compassion, leadership, and enhances Canada's global standing. So it's very important that we have immigrants in the country because they boost trade ties between Canada and the world. They strengthen the culture and diversity, and they are motivated, innovative, and entrepreneurial. So going to the next slide, my case is the case for immigration. As the Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship, Marco Mendicino, stated in March 19, 2020, immigration is fundamentally about people coming together to build a stronger country. Here we have some of the highlights of 2018, which shows how in 2018, 6,024,233 travel documents were issued to visitors, workers, and students, and 321,035 permanent residents were admitted to Canada. So this is how important immigration is to Canada. And in the 2019 annual report, which highlights the figures of 2018, shows that there were 84,229 temporary foreign work permits that were issued. 58% of all permanent residents were admitted under the economic class, out of which 62,427 individuals were admitted under the provincial nominee programs. 85,179 family members were reunited. 53,805 individuals who were ever international students became permanent residents. More than 721,000 international student permit holders were in the country. 28,076 refugees were resettled in Canada, the highest number of any refugees being settled in any country in the world. 92% of settlement clients have a strong sense of belonging in Canada, which is one of the greatest things that we all experience as immigrants to this country, that we have a sense of belonging, that we can always call Canada our home. And 510,000 individuals have accessed at least one settlement service in order to be able to integrate into the community. So, however, something that was unprecedented, something that we didn't expect was the pandemic, and this has affected Canada in a way that it has been very forward in its response to the COVID-19 pandemic. But one of the main things that the minister has stated is that firstly, the government has to look after the Canadians. As much as immigration is important, the welfare and the well-being of the Canadians is important. So the first thing that they did when the pandemic hit was to apply travel restrictions. So according to the travel restrictions, they were mainly enforced to manage the outbreak of the coronavirus disease. The Prime Minister announced travel restrictions that limit travel to Canada. These restrictions were aimed to stop mostly non-essential discretionary travel to Canada. Only Canadian citizens, permanent residents, and their immediate family members, like spouses, common law partners, dependent children, parents, and guardians, can return to Canada by air travel, provided they have a 14-day quarantine plan. So as much as the travel restrictions were enforced, the government noted that there were many family members who were outside Canada who wanted to be reunited with their family members. There were many students who had study permits and visas who were eligible to come to Canada to start their curriculum. There were many permanent residents who had obtained their COPRs who were stuck outside Canada who wanted to come to Canada. So, and there were also many essential workers who are outside Canada, who are temporary workers in Canada, who had the relevant work permits, who would want to come to Canada. So because of that, they did give an exemption, and the travel exemptions allow seasonal agricultural workers, fish, seafood workers, caregivers, and all other temporary foreign workers in possession of a Canadian work permit to come to Canada within the COVID times. International students who hold a valid study permit or have been approved for a study permit at the time the travel restrictions took effect in March 18, 2020 were able to come to Canada under these exemptions. Permanent resident applicants who had been approved for permanent residence before the travel restrictions were announced on March 18, 2020, but who had not yet traveled to Canada were allowed to come in, and any person providing essential services to Canada were allowed to come in. In addition to this, there were many who had received job offers from Canadian essential employment categories were given permission to come in, and so on and so forth. So because of these exemptions, the travel from the countries just kept going on. But one of the main things that was highlighted within this pandemic period is how Canada responded with its special immigration measures. So that's something I'd like to talk about, and I think it might be of interest to you all, how Canada reacts and how the immigration policies react to the unprecedented times that we are in. So the first thing is, what they did is they made a pathway to permanent residency, which recognizes exceptional service of asylum claimants on the front lines of COVID-19 pandemic. So something that you may all be aware of is that Canada is one of the countries that is very open to refugee settlement, and they opened the country to people who are in distress to come and settle down in the country. And since then, because of that, there are many asylum seekers in Canada who are left, who were left at a distressed time during the pandemic. And many of them were servicing the country by working in the healthcare sector and providing essential services, and giving them the opportunity to apply for permanent residency just because of the service that they render to the country is something that is to be highly regarded and something to be appreciated. So that is something that in Canada, in going forwards, is something that they can always be proud about, a movement that they gave the asylum seekers a chance to apply for permanent residency and get their papers and get status in the country. In addition to that, for students who make the most of Canada's one of the best income generators in Canada is the students and international students studying in Canada. And something that they came up with at this time is for students who had already enrolled in the student programs here but were unable to come to the country. They were given the opportunity to attend their programs virtually online, so that even if they attend online, that will not have any bar towards their PGWP work permit, that is the postgraduate work permit. One thing that we all know is that when international students come to Canada, one of the main things towards the immigration pathway is the postgraduate work permit that they get after they complete their studies in Canada. So it is very important that they were given the opportunity to be able to do that in their home country, and still that time is taken for them to be able to comply with the PGWP requirements. So that is something uh, that is a very forward step that was taken, because it is still encourage students to apply for programs here, international students mainly, and also that has given them confidence to know that Canada is still open for them to come and study, because Canada is known as one of the best, highest standards of education providers in the world. So this has given a boost to international students, in fact, to be able to come and study here in Canada. Another public policy that was implemented that I believe at this time is a very forward policy is the extension given to temporary residents to be able to apply for uh, an extension of their status when in Canada, if they because of the travel restrictions they can't go back. So because of that, this extension that has been given to restore their status within a 90-day framework has been something that has been utilized, and also it has given some sort of confidence to the people who have been in the country, who have come here as visitors, and who have been stuck and not having a way to go back because of the borders closed and the airports closed, and also because of the pandemic and the risk that is there in air travel. So Canada did a very what I would think is it's a very good thing that they did, because it gave some sort of assurance and security to the visitors that even as a visitor to this country, you are looked after, and Canada will make sure that you will be protected wherever you are. So this 90-day time frame for foreign nationals in Canada to apply for restoration of their status and to apply for an extension is something that has to be highly regarded. Then something that another forward public policy that came into being within the last couple of days is where visitors who are currently in Canada have a valid job offer are now able to apply for an employer-specific work permit and receive the permit without having to leave the country. So this is something which is also highly appreciated by the people who are here in the country, who are here as visitors, and some may have the opportunity to work and may have got job offers. So where the usual case would be to go back and apply from outside of Canada to come and work here, now they're given the opportunity to apply for a work permit from Canada itself, which is something that what I believe is something that is has helped the people a lot. So during this pandemic, what we can see is um, Canada has responded in an enormous way to help people who have been stuck here. It's not only people who have got residency, it's not only people who have work permits here, it's not only students, but everyone. They've even given opportunity for families to reunite together, uh, being, being that the families that they have not hindered that economic the family unit. They made sure that families can get together and immediate family members can come, provided that they have a quarantine plan. So Canada has responded in an immense way, and this is something that we have to appreciate in this country. And I myself, as an immigrant, I feel that Canada has given me an opportunity to go beyond my abilities. I am a lawyer by profession from back home, and now I'm a Canadian immigration consultant. And I am able to provide the advice that was provided to me to come to this country. And I'm able to give you also, whoever who is listening and who has any questions can ask me. Uh, this is a country that I believe that has responded very well to the pandemic, and immigration stands to be the top priority because Canada needs immigrants in this country. Canada's immigration plan as of now in 2000 is to ensure that more than 1 million immigrants come to the country within the next 2 years. And looking at what the minister said in March, the proposed 3-year plan has has a projection of inviting 341,000 permanent residents to the country in 2020, 351,000 permanent residents to the country in 2021, and 361,000 permanent residents to the country in 2022, which is a big amount. At least one of each at least 5 in 1 Canadians is an immigrant. So immigrants are very important to Canada, and Canada will make sure that whoever who comes to the country will be looked after and will be provided with everything they need to make sure that status remains valid and legal according to the immigration and citizenship laws of the country. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? You can just leave it on the chat.